I've been making YouTube videos for about 5 years now. And I don't know if this is a good or bad sign, but if you go back and watch some of my early videos, they aren't that different from some of my recent videos. So to quickly catch you up, here's the TLDR version of my journey so far. Or I guess it'd be the TLDW? Anyway, so the process has always pretty much been the same. Design a piece of furniture, build the piece of furniture, watch all the clips, write a voiceover to explain what I was doing in those clips, get on camera and read the voiceover while trying to make it sound like I'm just speaking off the top of my head, but trust me, I'm not. In fact, I only pull the script down and look at the camera a few times per episode, and I have to edit those in to make them feel seamless. Then finally throw everything into Premiere and edit it all into the style of episode that you're all very familiar with. Apologies if I ruined the illusion. Okay, so while the process has always been similar, some of the surrounding circumstances haven't been. For the first 2.5 years, I was working a 9-to-5 job while simultaneously working on YouTube an additional 40 hours or so per week. Then in September of 2018, everything changed when I was able to step away from my 9-to-5 to focus on content creation completely. I think it was an eventuality that I'd been inching towards for a while, but what really got me to take that leap was an offer from a friend, Jason, who had a large warehouse that he was willing to share with me. So I quit my job, moved my shop into a portion of the warehouse, and kept on keeping on. So flash forward another 1.5 years, and the next change happened. Sean joined the channel, and if I'm being honest, we were both already kind of doing the same thing stylistically, and long story short, we just agreed that working together would allow both of us to progress towards our common goals. So in February of 2020, he moved down and we got started on the first of those shared goals, wall-mounted dust collection. Just kidding. In-person workshops. We put out a video to announce the workshops, put up 3 dates, and to our surprise, they sold out. So we put up a few more dates and those were selling too. Everything was right on track, and then
who are watching this, how serious is this? What's keeping you up at night or not keeping you up at night?
Okay, so don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. Sean and I have been very blessed throughout all this. Family members are safe, we were able to keep working, so absolutely nothing to complain about. And thankfully, we were able to pivot to our next big shared goal, which was making long-form video plans. To date, we've made 8 original pieces, and we have no, plans on slowing down. Okay, so that pretty much brings us today and the question you might be asking, which is, what exactly isn't working anymore? And I guess that's kind of a double entendre in that it has 2 meanings. The first meaning has to do with the way that you experience me. It's definitely the real me, but it's a sort of stilted, calculated version of me. A version that's reading off a script right now. And if there's one thing that I wish I could change about my videos, it's that I wish the real me could come across more in the videos. Earlier in the video, no.
Just explain what we're doing.
And for a lot of people that might be really easy and natural to do, but for somebody like me who's kind of self-conscious, it's not. So how am I going to do that? Well, pretty much the only way I think you can, which is time and repetition, and then hopefully eventually reaching that place of comfort. And to get those reps in, we're bringing in help. Introducing Chris Johnson. Chris has been my best friend for about 20 years. In fact, he's been a part of this channel in ways since the beginning. He was in the second video that I ever uploaded, which ironically was for a gag about me sounding scripted. It was relaxing, and other people thought that I came off as fake. I just want to say that actually none of that was scripted. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, that was all pretty much just off the top of my head when I was recording that. I've never done anything scripted. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, that's it. And he was also the one who did all of the improvised guitar music that I used to use a lot. So Chris had been wanting to do something more creative. So I asked him if he had any interest in being a sort of cameraman / documentarian. We're still figuring it all out. But the plan is to make some other content and also interject a lot of those more, for lack of a better word, real moments into our videos here.
That's a cool restaurant.
Hey guys, Future Chris here. Technically, we're still figuring it out, but we wanted to start putting up videos sooner than later. So I'm going to have a link to the new channel in the description and at the end of this video. Okay, let's get back to this one. Good? Okay, cool. So that's the first meaning, and the second meaning ties in pretty literal. Over the past year, my wife Dolores and my oldest son would come into the workshop 2 days a week so that she could do some work and he could do distance learning at school. So we had this kind of weird setup to get us through the year here in our office space. Well, thankfully it's looking like school will be in person when he goes back, which means that this is the perfect time to do a complete renovation of our office space. Because with the new situation and the things that we want to do, literally, this isn't working anymore. So we're going to spend the rest of this video renovating our office space, or at least getting started on that. So the last thing that I'm going to do before we jump into it is set the stage. Essentially, we need a space for 4 people to work that can also function as a set for a lot of impromptu filming. Okay. The most important thing is that it's not distracting. So like, there's not just like somebody's head that...
Yeah.
And that it's conducive to quickly being like, okay, go. Turn the camera on. Okay, let's talk.
And it also needs to be an actual comfortable work.
Yes, yeah.
That's what it is.
Going
down.
2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Didn't I do one yesterday where it was just like a long table and we were straight like this and it looked okay? And okay was good enough for me. So next we put together a makeshift setup and tested out what things would look like on camera to make sure that our angles would work. And with a little bit of confidence there, we could start figuring things out. I don't think that you're too far away, right? Like, I don't think you could physically be that far away. You'd be in the hallway. Do you think we should make it out of 2 pieces that can come apart rather than just one big thing?
I mean that might make sense from a functional standpoint. It sounds weird being like, we're making a tabletop that's 48 inches wide and we're going to use 2 pieces of, people wide. But then that's why,
So we could do a trough that essentially goes like, say from here to here. And then we could do surge protectors on the underside. Do 2 of them, that way everything just gets plugged in under there. All right, so I guess we can work on a design.
Yeah, that's good.
Then you would need this to be way bigger because you would need an opening that gets to like the whole trough. So here's what we came up with. The table is going to be comprised of 4 L-shaped sections that are each 24 inches wide and 60 inches long, which will come together to make a table that's 4 feet wide and 10 feet long. Then we're going to beef up the outside edges by laminating on some extra strips and add a really long trough/stretcher that'll also house a lot of our cables. And to access those cables, we'll cut out a recess and put a cover on the top side. Finally, we'll have 2 boxes or cabinets for some storage and to help keep everything from sagging on the outside edges. And there's also a few secret goofy things that we're going to add on, but this is already getting long, so let's get to building and then we'll talk about more later. So then, because we're going to need some wood. The first thing I'm going to do is, I actually wrote it down, I'm going to cross cut 2 sheets at 60 3/8 of an inch. So the first order of business was breaking down our plywood to create our 4 L shapes. So we started off over at the ACS, cross-cutting 2 sheets right at about 60 inches. Then from there we could rip everything to a finished width, which I'd said was 24 inches a few minutes back. But by the time you factor in removing factory edges and what gets lost in the kerf, the pieces were about 1/4 of an inch shy of that. But in any case, with that done, next I could tilt my blade to 45 degrees and cut the bevel on the short portions of the L. For the top pieces, which are 60 inches long, I couldn't make the cut on the table saw, so instead we used a track saw for those. So with our 8 pieces cut to size, next we needed to turn them into 4 L-shaped desk quadrants. So I decided to cut in some dominoes to take care of that. Did you get a haircut?
We did.
Where?
I got away from cooking.
Where'd you go? Or did Nunny give it to you? You look good. Who cares, right? Care about a haircut? Stupid. I got a haircut too. You don't see me bragging about it. I didn't even get a cookie.
bragged the other day.
That's true. And I did get a cookie. Alright, so while those are drying up, let's knock out the trough. So to start, we grabbed a third piece of plywood and ripped it into a bunch of strips. For the trough, we're going to need 3 of them. 2 for the sides and 1 for the bottom. But before I assembled anything, I drilled in a bunch of pocket holes along the top edge on both sides, as this is how we're going to eventually attach the trough to the underside of the table. Then to actually assemble the trough, I just clamped it all together and countersunk a bunch of screws. What do you think?
It's on a desk. Is it part of the desk?
That'd be wild if that was the desk.
It would work. You're right there. I'm right here.
I think we could fit quite a few people at this desk, actually.
Let's see. We've set the precedent that 8 inches is enough. If this thing is 96, so divide those by 8, you got what, 12? But that would mean you got to take out the first 8 inches though. So really you're getting 10 out the side here. So you get 10, 20, you get 22 people at this desk.
Is it like a bar?
Yeah, we're also serving drinks.
There you go, pal. Drill?
Don't try that. Oh my god. Well, look, it made a little smiley face.
Oh, that's perfect. Look at the little smiley faces.
Like that no fear sign.
Yeah. Like kind of a little.
Alright, so earlier in the video I had mentioned that we were going to do some laminated strips onto the inside and underside of the desk for a little extra support and to add some visual weight. But I also mentioned that we were going to do some secret little drawers. So basically on the 2 desks that are closest to the wall, we'll just add a pair of long strips with a miter joint to make the pieces visually thicker. But on the 2 desks that go closer to the center of the room, we need to build them like this so that we have this little secret piece that can slide out. Again, more on that later. For now, that just means that we need to pick our orientation in terms of which desk is going to go where in the room. Let's like set these up in some way so that we can pick and choose their orientation.
Okay. I mean, they're so
I don't have a
homogeneous, it
preference.
doesn't matter.
Well, what about like, can we tell like which ones came from the same?
I mean, they're so close that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Here's coming in the door of the office. So this is where you sit. This is where I sit. Whoever and whoever. What makes more sense, to have Dolores here next to me?
Yeah, because you guys are husband and wife.
Yeah. Or does it make more sense to have her here because we can just make eyes at each other diagonally all day?
You can kiss. Well, if you guys are next to each other, you can just slide over and smooch.
Oh yeah.
But if you're diagonal, yeah, you can.
Yeah, but if we're here, we could play footsies.
Oh, true.
But if we're here, we can do hand stuff. What do I like better, footsies or hand stuff? Probably footsies.
We all.
S, D, Low, Chris, J, finally, Sean, but I'm going to misspell it. What do you like better, S-E-A-N or S-H-A-W-N?
A-W, it's closer.
Okay, then I'll do S-E-A-N. Okay, so with that all figured out, I could start laminating on my strips. So a few minutes back, when I had cut in my trough pieces, I had also cut out a few 3-inch wide strips that I could use for these strips. Then to cut everything to length, I used my Rockler miter gauge, starting off with my blade tilted still at 45 degrees. For the pieces that'll be vertical and go on the inside of the side piece here, I attached them using a combination of bandy clamps and spring clamps. And you can see in this shot that I cut them a little bit long so that I could flush them up after things were dry. For the pieces getting laminated to the underside though, I eventually switched to using clamps and a nail gun since you can't really see anything but the edge of these pieces. So in this shot, I'm putting on one of my short pieces. Then for each side, I'll make 2 pieces that get a rabbet cut into them. And to attach those, I'll install the first piece, then use a little spacer that's the same width as our eventual slide out drawers so that I could properly space them. Finally, once everything was dry, I could remove any excess length with a combination of a jigsaw and a flush trim bit. The next thing we needed to do was cut a large opening into the entire top that would give us access to all of our cables. So to help make that clean, I decided to make myself a template. And normally, especially for larger templates, your first thought is that you think you need a big CNC. But I wanted to show how you can achieve something like this with a really small template. So instead I used the X-Carve, not the Pro, to make a really small template. So I got it all modeled up in easel, and then used the X-Carve to cut it out of some 1/4" MDF. Now, somehow I forgot to film it, but the next thing that I did was draw roughly where I expected my groove to live on the desktops, then used a jigsaw to remove the bulk of the material, making sure that I stayed at least 1/8 inch to the inside of my marking. Then I could clamp my tables into pairs and attach my template to the transition area. And in this closer shot, you can see the results of my drawing and jigsawing, and you can see that I actually stayed way more than 1/8 inch to the inside of the curved bit. But in any case, we'll take care of the rest with our template and a palm router with a templating bit installed. So doing that created the final cut for the 6 inches or so on either end, but to take care of the remaining 73 inches or whatever it was, I just clamped a piece of 1/4" MDF to the line I'd marked, and used the same bit to cut a nice straight line. Then with a clean edge established, I kept taking light passes until the groove went all the way through the thickness of the top. Okay, so we have all the pieces cut out, and it's, man, that's feels close. So we have all 4 quadrants of the desk cut out, and we're at the point where we have to cut a rabbet into this that'll hold the plate, that'll hide all the cables. So we're kind of at the point where we need to get everything put together so that we can do all of those last steps. And then we're gonna have to take it apart again. And me and Sean are gonna have a little discrepancy about that, as you're gonna see right now.
We're about to fight, get into a fight.
You're not gonna do nothing.
And
You're not gonna.
we touch our chins together.
We do a little Eskimo kiss.
Actually, honestly, what you could do is do them all separately, cut your rabbet, and just, when you get here, just come off of it.
At some point, we're gonna have to put it together before it's in there.
Yeah.
To finesse things.
I feel like right now, what you're doing right now is not a reason to assemble the whole thing. When you get to these corners, just leave it a bit wide.
Yeah, but then we're still gonna have to take it apart and put it back together in there.
Right, but like right now, you don't really need to put it all together. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to.
Okay, before Sean and I come to blows, let's take a second to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So I've been using Squarespace for about 4 years now, and it's been great. Prior to that, I used to code everything on my own, which is fine if you like doing that, but it's hard, takes time, and honestly, the outcome wasn't as nice as the templates that I use now with Squarespace. And the worst part is, it was taking me away from doing the things that I really should be focusing on, like fighting with Sean. Now, in addition to Squarespace making it super easy to build and maintain your site, buy domains and all that stuff, they also have plenty of e-commerce, which has been really helpful since we started selling plans. Things like inventory management, a simple and secure checkout process, and unlimited products allow us to easily manage online transactions. So if you've been thinking about starting a website, or even if you already have one that you think could be better, you owe it to yourself to check out Squarespace to see if it might be a better option for you. Just head over to squarespace.com/4eyes for a free trial, and then when you're ready to launch, use the offer code 4eyes to save 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, thanks Squarespace. Let's get back to the video.
Yes, we
got to figure out how to put these together.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, we decided to go ahead and assemble everything at this point. But in order to do that, I needed to cut 6 what we're calling assembly plates. Basically, these will attach to the underside of the desk at all of the transition areas to force those pieces into being coplanar wherever 2 pieces meet. Looks like the floor of a Cracker Barrel in here. Actually, I've never been to a Cracker Barrel. Do they have sawdust on the floor?
They have barrels on the floor.
Whoa! Like Diddy. That's a cool restaurant. Okay, so this one has to go on.
Over there.
I hit the planets.
We're off to a good start.
Damn it, I feel like we should have swept up the floor. That's nice.
This is not gonna work, guys. It's upside down.
Ew.
So I say first we clamp the ends, get those lined up.
Or do we do light clamping pressure and let the plate suck it in? Hey, honey. Yep. Okay, sugar. Yeah. I love you. Wrong number. How did this get in there?
What?
This Phillips head. Oh no, it's just like,
It's
why is it bronze?
This is one of the, like the Power Pro or whatever the like Home Depot.
Look at that little daddy long leg. Get out of here. Ah, son of a.
Why are our desks always like the things that we make?
Because they're like big, well, depends what desks, I guess. Like
the ones that we use.
Yeah, because they're like just like big and not refined in a lot of ways.
Why do we do that? Like, why don't we go like, hey, you know what? We deserve a nice desk.
Because we don't deserve a nice desk.
That's true.
What have we done to earn it?
That's true. Nothing.
Hey, look, we're doing what we're doing on the back of your shirt.
Oh yeah, we just have to be like.
I just realized something. So these were supposed to be the 16-inch ones, and that's why I was so confused. Like, how did these go under the trough? I was like, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. This probably doesn't matter, too. This just needed to stop short of the trough, but the trough's going to hold it coplanar further in, so. Ooh, baby, that stuck down nice. All right, I'm about 8 inches, a little bit over.
I'm 14 and a half.
Oh, wow. I'm at 11 right now.
You're at 11 right now?
Right about it, yeah.
So I'm at 11 3/4, so go 3/8. Oh.
Too much? Ooh, boy.
It's a beefy boy.
It is heavy.
It's not much to grab onto.
Kind of what we thought.
Yeah.
It's big.
It is big.
Okay. So I will cut the rabbit.
Look, your sweetheart is here.
Hey, sweetie. Sweetie.
Ooh. Oh my God, is this gonna fit? Looks good.
It's where we spend all our time, so. It, right? You always say that.
You think it looks good?
All right, so with everything assembled, next I could use my router to cut a rabbet along the entire groove. And this is going to create a ledge that's 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch so that a 1/2 inch thick piece of material can sit on the ledge and be flush with the top of the table. And while I was at it routing that, I went ahead and routed an 1/8 inch roundover along the top and outside edges of the table and gave everything a light sanding. Next, I could use the X-Carve to cut out a template to match the ends of my groove. And I went ahead and cut 2 variations so that I could just see which one fit best. And once that was determined, I used that over at my table saw to set my fence so that I could cut a couple of long strips of 1/2 inch plywood. So after verifying that the strips fit nicely along the entire length of the groove, I could clamp my template onto the ends of either the strip and then use the templating bit to cut radiuses onto the 1/2 inch plywood. Then I could fit the cover plate into the groove and mark out the exact lengths that they needed to be, and then use my miter gauge to cut them to their finished lengths. So at this point, the cover plates are doing a good job of covering the trough where all of the cables will be, but it's missing a place for the cables to actually come through to the desktop so that we can, plug stuff in. So to rectify that, we decided to cut 4 half circles, so I guess 2 circles, and to make those cuts, I used a drill press and a Forstner bit. Next, to maximize the amount of cableage that could actually fit through our holes, I marked out on the rabbet ledge where the holes in the cover plate sat, and then used a templating bit to remove that material.
Okay, so we just cut these to length to fit in our little trough covers. But the problem is they're 1/2-inch plywood, which is very bendy, so it's like sitting up. See, this one's like bowed the whole way. So I want to figure out something to get them to lay relatively flat. My first idea is we could just like weaken it with a bunch of kerf cuts on the underside.
If we, that's not a bad idea.
Thank you.
A bunch of kerf cuts all the way down, you know, like close together, and it almost would be like a piece of fabric.
Yeah,
or
you can
something.
peel it back to just
Yeah.
access.
Like, yeah, you'd be like,
But then we're gonna accidentally snap it at some point. Is there a better solution though? It's gonna.
it'll be bowed up. What? Is that magic?
This one, I did fewer curves.
Yeah.
But I think they're spaced a little further.
Yeah.
Did you get that? I did fewer curves, but I think they're spaced a little further. Is that a clean take? One more for safety? I'll mouth it. Here, you say it, I'll mouth it. Ready?
Fewer kerfs, and I spaced them farther apart. Yeah, looks good.
I mean, it's like it doesn't look good from close, but it works like this.
What do you mean?
Good from far, far from good.
Why doesn't it look good?
You
from
know,
close?
just like this radius doesn't match up nicely, and just little things. You know, it's I would say what's a good way to put this? It's appropriately finessed for what this project is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which is like, you know, if this was all hardwood, one continuous piece,
Yeah.
this would not cut it if that was the case.
Yes, we would have spent a lot more time if someone was paying us for this.
That's true. If it wasn't for us,
Yeah.
is probably the main thing.
Yes.
Ooh, this is what's that called?
Oh,
What's it?
that was a shove it.
Shove it. Ooh, that was a good one.
360 shove it.
What about if you go the other way? Is that called anything? Earlier in the video, in the voiceover part, I should have talked about this little stupid secret drawer thing that we decided to put in the desk. So now we have to figure out what we want to put in these stupid little drawers. What do you want to put in your little doohickey here?
I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to think about
Well,
it.
let's think about it in real time right now, because
Well,
I'm going to cut them all up. We can go in the office and draw it up, and you
Yeah.
can lay things out. Well, you know you want some pencils, right? Didn't you already
Yeah.
say that?
I want a spot for one pencil and one pen.
How about a couple M&Ms? A little M&M tray.
Maybe a place for a pack of M&Ms.
What if your drawer just has a space for, it's just dead center, just one pencil?
I'm a simple man, except my desk has all over it. It's like, Sean, you obviously need more than that, you idiot.
I think it should just have one pencil.
I'm down with that.
All right, makes it easy for me. The Palomino?
Yeah.
You don't want to put the Mitsubishi in there too?
I mean, the Mitsubishi is a more classic looking pencil. Actually, I want a Dixon
classic
Ticonderoga. I don't want any of this bull.
Should it be unsharpened?
Yeah.
What about a
probably.
pencil sharpener and an unsharpened Ticonderoga?
Ooh, that'd be sick.
Do you have standard, intermediate, or primary? Do you want to grab in writing position like that? Or you like grabbing from the middle
I
and
think
then you
it's
get an adjustment?
Aesthetically, I want the finger divot in the middle.
So you're going for looks, not function here.
Correct.
Yeah, let's see if we can find
No,
a sharpener on Amazon that you like.
There's gotta be a way to filter out electric ones.
I'll do a Boolean search. Well, all we found was electric sharpeners by doing that.
It doesn't work like that.
Mechanical pencil. That's gonna be like a thumb
Yeah.
going like that.
Analog pencil
There you go.
sharpener.
What about plastic? I think
How about
plastic would do it.
small pencil? It's gonna just be for golf pencils only. There's that one again. Oh, look, that one's like the old school one that
Yeah,
would be
like
mounted on the
that.
wall.
Exacto, baby. That's what.
It's a name you can trust. Look at that. Was $18.40, now only $6.99. I don't know if we can afford not to get this. That's a wall mount too.
Yeah.
Go over while you guys are taking a test, and I'll just.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Like, sorry, my Ticonderoga was blunt. I might be onto something here. An Integra aluminum pocket sharpener.
Ooh, pocket sharpener.
Pocket sharpener, that's our
Pocket
word.
pencil sharpener. Look at this. Ooh, Mobius and Rupert brass round double hole sharpener.
Is that on Amazon?
Sounds classy.
It's
Yeah,
pretty-
Mobius and
it's
Rupert.
pretty
that's
classy.
Nice.
Look at
That
this.
is nice. And it's knurled.
Yeah.
You think she's gonna fit?
Who needs one of those? Ooh.
Damn.
Do you think Mobius and Rupert have desks like us and they just sit here all day arguing over pencil sharpeners?
Oh,
Yeah,
look at this, the whole set.
Made in Germany. Holy f. This is
Oh, look, they have like M and R, like each one is individually numbered.
Do you think there's a form where people post and like your handle has to have like the number that you got? So you'd be like Shawnee B 602 or whatever?
Yeah, and you,
Are you more of a Mobius or more of a Rupert man? I think Mobius, he brings a lot of sensibilities
we go.
to the sharpener, but that's a render.
ooh, look at
comes
the
in a
box it
case.
comes in.
Don't need the box. That's fluff.
Finest in the world. Man, we found high-end pencil sharpeners.
Look at that. It's got like little indentions for you to
Yeah.
really get in there and crank on your Ticonderoga.
Slogan for Mobius and Rupert is sharpen your senses.
Do they sell t-shirts? Can we get on the forum and ask somebody to take a measurement?
What forum are you talking
M&R
about?
form.
The
We
subreddit
could
for
call Julia Fisher right now, Director of Sales and Marketing, and
get a
ask.
quick measurement.
Yeah.
It's got her number. What time is it in Germany?
Here's their address. We could just straight up go to the
Germany?
to the factory.
Frankfurt?
It's in Erlangen. Looks like a nice place. Right? Wow, they're just like right on a river.
Like in between.
I want to work for this place. I'm out of here. That's where they're made.
What if they were shaped like the pencil They were like a round building with a whole
A
door.
round build.
Whoa!
Oh, that's
Oh, Emma!
Oh!
There she is.
Wow. You know, this building fits what they're making.
Well, you gotta have inspiration everywhere you look,
Look
right?
at this picture. Jeez.
Okay, as you can see, I've got a
How many
small selection
views?
of pencil
25
sharps here.
minutes. 43,000.
Damn.
And two,
It's all people like us that like have just gone down the same.
like this up.
Let's get to the M&Rs.
If you can see that.
Oh, we can see it.
M&R is actually, I think, the world's best pencil sharpener manufacturer.
That's all I needed to
confirmed.
hear. That's all I needed to hear.
Confirms what we already knew.
The greatest pencil sharpener in the world. You know, this is the type of thing that makes me,
Believe there's a God?
yeah. I mean, you could get the full set for $30. What if in my drawer I have one pencil and four
Four
sharpeners?
How long have we actually been doing this now?
30 minutes.
30 minutes on M&R.
I got some good M&R content.
Okay, you would go around. What would you go?
Only one.
I like the barrel one.
I feel like we should just get the set because Dolores probably would want whatever the fourth one that you didn't want is,
Alright.
and now we can all have our pencil sharpeners.
Does the set come with?
It comes.
Isn't that
yeah,
four?
Yeah.
Holy
You could take this one. I'll take that one. You take that one. Dolores can have this
She's the
piece.
Dol-
Well, that is like a
That is.
classic
Yeah,
one,
that
too.
is.
We'll call that the Dolores.
That's a good one, actually. Maybe I'll take it. No, I want this.
Okay, but do we know the dimensions? Because we gotta.
Free delivery tomorrow.
I like that we're probably never gonna sharpen a pencil either.
Yeah, but we just spent $30 on pencil sharpeners. This is what successful
Oh,
business
God.
people do.
All right, we're going to leave this one here, and we'll be back in a couple days to finish off the desk and the entire office. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.